Oasis Lineage Academy do accounting. And we're here to interview with these questions if it's possible.
We did some research on BP Garage and we've come to a conclusion that it is a fuel station that has different branches throughout South Africa, and you're in partnership with Pick and Pay. So you provide not just fuel, but also food and medicines.
So we're here to interview on how COVID-19 has affected your business. And are there types of goods and supplies that you supply to your clients?
Sorry, your question, yes again?
The types of goods. What are the types of goods? What are the types of goods and supplies that you supply to your clients?
Right. Is that the first question?
Yes.
Okay, so obviously, my name is Rudy. I'm the managing director for CRB Investments, which also got different types of service stations around the Rustenburg area. To start with your question of a BP service station has obviously, like you said, three offerings, if I want to call it that. I call it three sections. So it's the fuel section, it's the shop section, and then we got our bakery section or fast food. So in essence, that's what we offer to our clients. It will be a fuel offering, grocery shop, which is the Pick and Pay, and then a fresh bakery, which then will be takeaways or in that line. Yeah.
Has COVID-19 affected you in any way, the business?
I think definitely it has, in more than one way. You must look at it from two perspectives. You've got an economic impact and then you've got a personal impact or employee impact. So obviously when you start losing, individuals lose parents or kids or whatever, so that is one part which has affected us. And then from a economic point of view, definitely I would say 20%, if you want to call percentage-wise, 20% drop in the market. Yes, but it has definitely impacted the business, yeah.
Okay. So where does your business operate from?
So our head office is in Rustenburg, but just to conclude you that CRB Investment is a development company. So it develops property. So we just focus on service stations. So our head office is in Rustenburg, but we have multiple properties that we've developed.
You said you're the managing director.
Yes.
So would you happen to know how much capital it took to start the company?
It's a bit of a difficult question to answer because the company is about 13 years old now. So the company started off with 5,000 rand. If you want to know.
Oh.
I don't know if that's going to answer your question.
Why was the company started?
Why? We were in a time of 2008, I think, when there was an economic meltdown. So I was fresh out of varsity at that point, and jobs wasn't really a thing that was hard. It was hard to come by. So we've decided, look, if you want to make a difference, the option would be to start your own company.
So where do you buy those goods and supplies that you supply to your clients?
Okay, so obviously you saw the brands Pick and Pay and BP. So once you went into agreement or goes into agreement with these type of franchises, there is different agreements for different folks, but your answer would be then Pick and Pay, BP.
Why Pick and Pay?
Look, if you look at the market that happened around Rustenburg, you need to understand what's happening. I don't know if you guys know, this is called the Golden Mile, this stretch of road, which has all the circles on it. For the pure reason, Rustenburg can really only develop one way, it's this way. So there wasn't really an opportunity for people here in the area to buy, they need to go back to town. So we felt a normal quick shop would not maybe necessary, so that's why we went for the BP, which obviously has the Pick and Pay franchise that goes with them.
Who supplies your fuel?
BP, in short.
Obviously.
Yeah.
How is selling price determined?
Look, selling price is with regards to crude oil. So crude oil's price is determined by supply and demand. So if the demand is obviously high, then the price will go a bit higher, but it's determined through the barrel of crude oil. And then obviously all the taxes and all the levies comes onto that, and that's how you get us put on a margin, and that's how we get to the 16 rand or 17 rand that you see on the board. 70% of that goes to tax, so I don't even see it.
Is your financial information recorded?
Yeah, for sure. Any business needs to account for every sale. So yeah, definitely, yeah.
So how do you record it?
What kind of system?
Okay, let's start from the beginning. So like I said, there's 3 segments that we need to focus on. So, which makes this a bit more difficult than any other service station, is that each segment has got its own system. So a BP system is for BP, and a pick and pay system is for pick and pay, and then we incorporate the well-being into the pick and pay system. So that is basically how we record it, and the system that we use is called SAP or SAP for short. I think you maybe saw it on TV. I think only else wears the golfer, he wears it on his shirt also.
So do you record it from time to time, or?
Every single day, every single transaction you account for.
Okay.
So what do you do to the goods that have been expired in your shop?
Alright, so that is what we would call stock losses. Stock losses or shrinkage, stock shrinkage. There's a lot of names that you can give to it, but so we account for stock losses. It's just part of the business. It's a 24-hour shop. It's the offering that you give. So we allow a certain margin for it for stock loss, yeah. But they call it stock losses, yeah.
So you have employees.
You can hold on. Hello, Cindy.
Yes, sir.
So you have employees. How are their wages determined?
Wages is determined through a company called MIPCO, which is Motor Industry Bargaining Council, which determines the rates that. It's actually a section of labour law that was extended to the motor industry. So we're affiliated with them, yeah. So they determine the rates that each cashier and attendant and well-being supposed to get, so they make sure that they regulate that, yeah.
So do you have competitors? If you do, who are they, and how do you handle those competitors?
Okay, so the first thing is, yes, obviously you have competitors. You just engine, shell, so that's out of the bat. So you get that as competitors. With a pick and pay, also you got no-name brands across, and you got obviously then the mall and all of that. So I must say the first thing is that I would say we've learned it actually in our course that we took, is that you must understand that petrol is petrol. So if you put it by me or Shell or whatever, it's the same thing. So to answer your question, that's where you get your edge, I would say, is then your personnel. Make sure that your personnel are motivated. Make sure that your staff is always friendly. Make sure that your food that is sold is fresh. One thing is that we have as a big competitive advantage is convenience. So for a guy to go to the mall to buy a pie would take him 10 minutes or 20 minutes, here it will take him 3 minutes.
So what are the biggest challenges in your business, and how do you handle those very big challenges in your business?
Yeah, that's a large question. Cash flow will probably stick out as number one. So cash flow to make sure that you can buy product, buy fuel, pay wages, pay salaries, pay expenses. That's first and foremost, because I mean, if you can't pay fuel, your whole shop goes down. So yeah, I would definitely say cash flow is a big issue. To manage that is quite a daunting task on its own. But that's where we as managers come in, and we use certain type of strategies that we make sure that we have cash available to do all of that, yeah.
How do you how profit or loss is determined and how regularly is it calculated?
So PNR comes from the income statement. I don't know if you guys have dealt with that a bit. So income statement determines your net profit. So it comes from your sales list, obviously your cost of sales. And that is what I use, punch in daily, is to get an accurate net profit, and then I will work into a net profit percentage. And that's what I monitor on a monthly basis. So the income statement, I don't do it physically, it's accounting department, but they send it to me, the statements, and I work through. And whenever there's variances in either sales or cost of sales, that's where I come in.
How are your employees' wages?
How are their wages? In that sense, what do you mean?
Average.
The average salaries.
Yeah.
Okay, now the question that you should ask there is, what do you give your your workers to help them, or is there a bonus or something, incentives or things like that?
Okay, one thing you must understand with a bonus, and I don't think you'll maybe understand it now, but cash out seldomly motivates people. You get over a short period that it will, but then it will dissipate. For the reason is, if you drive a bicycle and I say to you, listen, you're going to work, you're going to get a car, but only a small one, then you'll do that. But once you get the small car, you want a bigger car.
Exactly.
So I need to get the bonuses out there, all the time. So cash, we don't do bonuses, but we do firmly believe in motivating our employees through employee of the month, and maybe we'll have a bright day for them when it's a good month or a good week.
They
or
get
what.
raised.
Yeah, the raises.
Yeah.
There is, like I said, it's regulated by MERCO, but that is not determined by me. So the MERCO will determine with government what is the. I think you will hear that unions sometimes fight with government. They want a 7%, but they settle for 1%. That's what MERCO does. Yeah, so I'm not involved with that.
Do you have any other questions?
No.
That's all.
That's all your question.
Yeah.